So this is an Alcatel 1B from 2021. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabyte storage, all your typical stuff on a low-end smartphone. Yeah, so I'm going to make a review because a lot of people are kind of on the fence about this phone. So we're going to go over it and we're going to look at it. So it's got your typical, like, it's got a removable back on the phone. I bought this used on Facebook. Buddy had a pop socket on the back of it. I got this phone for $50. It was, yeah, but he didn't want it anymore, so we're gonna take it apart and we're gonna look at it. So this is it, kind of disassembled. It's got a, plastic back. It's a little bit flimsy, but I mean, this is its job. Most plastic backs are. You get your camera bump there. There's the battery. You got a spot for your SIM card and micro SD card. There is the charging port, data port. It is a USB mini, and on the top we have headphone jack. So yeah, you can just snap this on pretty easily. And on the top you have a Google Now button, which I never use, and you have your power button and 2 volume buttons. So if we just plug it in, bear with me for 1 second. Just put it in, and she turns on. So this is my backup phone. My main phone that I'm using, and the one I'm recording this video on, is the newer Alcatel 1B from 2022, even though the box says 2021. And it comes with all your parts. Pine green tells you its model number. Yeah, so let's just turn this on and we can watch it do its thing. There we go. So in the box you get just some random, because you see I'm not very good at opening the boxes. You get your charging block, which is actually not that bad of a charging block, and it does come with a power cord, which is currently plugged into my laptop at the time. So yeah, you get some random, like a SIM tool, yeah, and just your normal phone box stuff. It's a handy box. So there is the phone in all its glory. I'll boot it up. It's running Android 10 Go. Here's the phone. I'll boot it up. You got all your apps and everything you could possibly want on here. So yeah, there's it comes with a few pre-installed apps. Calendar, Chromium, or Chrome. You got your messages, TV, phone, YouTube, Play Store, Maps, basically everything you would expect. These are Android Go apps, so they're a little bit less resource intensive. I'm not a big fan of Google themselves, so I tend not use these apps, to remove them on my personal devices, but GPS is off, I don't care. There we go. The camera is actually not bad at all. Let's switch to video. And it is actually, yeah, pretty bright, pretty nice. I am using a different camera app temporarily on the phone that I'm using to record this video, so that's probably why mine is a little bit darker than this camera, but yes. So, well, the battery's at 0%, so I guess turning the camera on for a long time drained the battery. But, so I've been using this phone for a few months. Yeah, and so you got all your typical stuff. You can go into your settings and this system about phone. There it is. So Alcatel 13E1G. So let's go your model, your CPU, resolution, camera. So the earlier version only has a 5 megapixel front camera, and a 5 megapixel back camera, 2 megapixel front camera, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabyte storage, Android 10, 3000 milliamp battery, and I don't even know if that's relevant, but so this is the cheaper version, the earlier version from 2020. But yeah, all in all, pretty usable phone, and you can upgrade the storage with an SD card. I am back on my actual personal phone. So I do have Lawn Chair Launcher installed. So I'm not actually using the default launcher just for fun. I like having widgets. That's one of the things that Android Go has that they try to use to save resources is to have widgets enabled. So if you want widgets, you can install different launchers. But yeah, it runs just fine. I have a ton of apps on here. I use this every day, all day, and I get my battery lasts all day so far. So as you can see, I don't really use a lot of Google's apps. They're tools for almost anything. I use a lot of like simple tools. I look at a lot of my apps from F-Droid, and I don't use the Play Store. I use Aurora Store. So yeah, I use a lot F-Droid for a lot of my apps. If I can actually use open source apps like Simple Calculator, things like that. I have Simple Calendar Pro. Oops. Yeah. Simple Calendar Pro, and I use Firefox browser. I have been using Open Camera, and it's not too bad. Their recording, which is why I've been okay with using Open Camera, is I do find that their photos are a little bit better on most of the phones I've used, but their recording, as you can see, it's a lot darker. So I'm not sure. I might have to go back and switch to just using the default camera app, because you can see when I was recording with this guy, it was a lot better for making videos. So, but yeah. In my opinion, for the $120 I paid for this phone at Walmart, and the $6 in tax, it is a pretty solid phone, and I don't really have any problems with it. It would be nice that they had reversed the location of the power and volume buttons, and it would be a little bit nicer if it had USB-C, but it doesn't really matter because they're still selling some Motorola phones that have USB Mini in 2022, so it's just a minor little thing that doesn't really bother me in the end. But yeah, I don't have too much problems with this phone. It's been running pretty well for me, and I actually quite like it. I quite like that it's simple, it's cheap, and it's got a removable battery, headphone jack, SD card slot. Those are all pretty good features in my opinion. So if I was going to rate this phone, like if you're looking to buy this phone, I would rate this like 9 out of 10, in all honesty. A lot of people kind of knock Alcatel as a brand, and a lot of people will, they'll knock Alcatel as a company because it's cheap phones and things like that, and a lot of people, they don't think you can really get by with 2 gigabytes of RAM on your phone in 2022 and things like that. But in my opinion, using this every day, all day, The user experience with 2 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage is just fine. And if you're in the market for a cheap phone and you just want something, I would definitely buy one of these. And that's going to conclude the review. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 stars.